PlayStation 2 remains the best-selling console of all time, and there were a lot of games released on that there Sony machine. Recently, the Video Game History Foundation released statistics that today in 2023, only about 13% of the games released during the reign of the PS2 are available to play in today's marketplace. That means regardless of how many remasters and collections we have today, there's still a lot of games that are being lost to time. So today we're running through 10 weird PS2 games that you forgot existed. Probably. For this list, we've selected games with an obscure piece of trivia or something truly unique that barely gets talked about anymore, and chances are these games are not available on most digital marketplaces, with a few exceptions. Number 10. Before John Marston and Arthur Morgan, there was Red Harlow, the lead character of Rockstar and Capcom's arcadey western shooter and origin point for the Red Dead franchise we all know and love. The game sees players take Red into different levels to shoot their way through western set pieces and confront an eccentric baddie. In hindsight, it's pretty wild seeing how far we've come in the series. We put this at 10 since it is available on the PlayStation Network as a PS2 classic and does have the Red Dead franchise going for it, although it's such a different beast and barely acknowledged in the Redemption series aside from some multiplayer skins in the original RDR and some fan theories that good old Red Harlow may still be alive and well in the time of the Vanderlyn gang. Number 9. Ever hear of Deadpool? That's the vibe of iNinja. This Namco game saw players pick up the role of a ninja, named Ninja, that's got an attitude and edge sharper than the katana he uses to murder his sensei like 5 minutes into the game. Not only is this ninja with a 2-day time capsule of the early aughts, he also forgoes typical ninja aesthetics where the game's enemies and levels are concerned because you fight robots. A lot of robots. Number 8. Nickelodeon carries a lot of power, and their games can find a foothold in many players' hearts. Just look at SpongeBob games like Battle for Bikini Bottom. So what happens when you flip it and reverse it to make it a Nickelodeon show based on a game? This THQ platformer focuses on traversing jungles, solving puzzles with the assistance of local wildlife, and special powers. Apparently, the gameplay was inspired by Sly Cooper, levels inspired by Jak and Daxter, and humor taken from Ratchet and Clank, yet only one of these lived to modern day. Number 7. Believe it or not, PlayStation First Party used to make games that aren't cinematic, over-the-shoulder, narrative-rich video games. One of those being Parappa the Rapper on the PS1, which popularized eccentric character-based rhythm games for the platform. And on the PS2, Guitar Man took that concept and ran with it. The game follows some kid named U1 that gets attacked one day, but his talking dog gives him a weapon-grade guitar that leads to some musical fierce showdowns that would give Scott Pilgrim a run for his money. Number 6. When it comes to on-rail first-person shooters, you're either in or you're out. Similarly, when it comes to creative fellow Suda51, odds are you're also either in or out. Combining the two makes for a cult classic in Killer 7, which sees players follow the titular group of assassins in a noir plot with heavy stylized cell shading. Not only did the success of this game allow Suda to go on to make the much more known No More Heroes series, starring Travis Touchdown, the intercool Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes canonized Killer 7 to set both franchises in the same universe. Number 5. Since time in memoriam, many have wondered the age-old question.
Tell me where in the world is
Carmen San Diego.
After what I'm told was a successful show and point-and-click adventure series, the exploits of world-famous thief Carmen San Diego made their way to the PS2 for Carmen San Diego, The Secret of the Stolen Drums. This globetrotting adventure follows Cole Gannon as he tracks down the infamous thief from New York City to Machu Picchu, defeating robots. The early 2000s really loved robots, huh? It received middling reviews compared to its point-and-click counterpart, which has me wondering why they haven't teamed up with GeoGuessr yet. Number 4. Alongside its grip on Hot Topic in the early 2000s, The Nightmare Before Christmas's wild popularity earned it a safe and comfortable space on the PS2 in the first few Kingdom Hearts games. But did you know that in addition to rocking with Sora and his friends, Jack Skellington starred in a character action game made by Capcom in the same engine as Devil May Cry? The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogies Revenge follows the events that precede the film, where Jack Skellington, now fully embracing Halloween once again, with his own Halloween sticky hand Devil Trigger, must navigate through Halloween Town and Christmas Town in an attempt to stop a revived Oogie Boogie. Story-wise, the themes and point of it are very similar to what you get out of the film, including the ending, but the existence of a Tim Burton-skinned DMC is enough to make anybody do a double take. Number 3. This next one may just be considered the Dark Souls of the PS2 library. And where better to find that game than from the creators of Dark Souls themselves, From Software. The Adventures of Cookie and Cream sees two rabbits, Cookie and Cream, on their way home from a moon festival before someone stops to tell them that the moon disappeared. And if they ever want there to be another moon festival, they have to go find the moon again. Gameplay is course-based with the objective of navigating Cookie and Cream through each stage either by yourself or with a friend. But the twist is that you can use either two controllers or share a controller, since the left and right side each control the inputs of one of the characters. You're gonna have to be ambidextrous if you're playing this one solo. Sharing a controller for a platformer? If you ask me, that sounds like the Dark Souls of platform. Number 2. Despite planning a 2023 comeback, for myself and many others, nothing quite screams early 2000s PS2 era like logging into your computer and trying to figure out how Neopets works. But did you know at one point the brand branched off browser games and onto Sony's PS2 with Neopets: The Darkest Fairy? The game takes place in a medieval period of Neopia, the world of Neopets, following two anthropomorphic Neopets that wield swords and sorcery in an attempt to stop the Darkest Fairy from exacting revenge on the entire continent. And if it sounds lore-heavy, it's because it was written by the founder of Neopets, Adam Powell. Yet somehow it gets even stranger than when Neopets killed Webkins, because the developers of the games were Idle Minds, who you may know better as Deck 9, the studio behind some of the Life is Strange games. And before number 1, a few honorable mentions. Number 1. Would anyone expect this guy Frogger to do anything other than cross roads? Well, Konami did. And it resulted in this.
Basta! No! It can't be!
Frogger: The Great Quest released in 2001 and follows a talking young boy version of Frogger journeying across kingdoms to save and get a smooch from a princess that, spoiler alert, turns him into a real boy. Something about this game's existence and energy feels like a creepypasta curse you would hear about at a lunch table in school, and maybe that's why it was critically panned. And that concludes our list of weird PS2 games you forgot about. Some of these are real gems, and others still deserve a try to see just how different games were back during the days of the PS2 compared to now. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more lists like this one, be sure to like and let us know in the comments some of your favorite hidden gems or forgotten PS2 games. And as always, stay tuned to TechRaptor for more.